Okay, well I think I launched that. Yeah, okay. It acted very strange when I pushed the button, so alright. Sorry for that. Okay, another motivation, our motivation to belong. What do we need besides food and sex? Well, Aristotle says we need a social life. That we need other people around us, that humans were designed to be part of a community, according to Alfred Adler, or Adler, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And that we need to feel like we are part of a group, of a community. Roy Baumeister, Mark Leary, and Abraham Maslow all have agreed on the term to belong. So these are all different people who, across thousands of years, have all agreed humans need to be around other people and to feel like they are part of the group. What we mean by belonging is being connected to others, being part of a group or a family or a community in some fashion so that we feel like we're not alone. And in this modern era, we don't necessarily have to be in the same physical space to feel like we are part of a community. We can be in an online classroom or chat room or support group or something like that. It doesn't have to be face-to-face time anymore. Just feeling like other people care about us and that other people value us is what we're looking for. Now, we have the need to belong, which I've put on the bottom here. But we also, us humans, have a need to be autonomous, to feel like we're making our own decisions, to be independent. Like as adults, we don't necessarily want to have to account for every single thing we do to the people around us, right? And then self-efficacy, to feel like we can accomplish what we set out to do. So we want to feel like we belong, but we also don't want to be hamstrung by that belongingness, right? We don't want other people to feel like they are controlling us. And we don't want to feel like we've been controlled. So we have to kind of balance that need for individuality with our need to belong to a group. Here's a group, good-looking group of fellas walking down the street with their skateboards and their basketball. There's egg and pants. This need for belongingness leads us to do some good things, some positive things. It helps us to develop loyalty, our loyalty to our friends, our loyalty to our team or our group, loyalty to our family. These are good. Loyalty is a good thing. To feel like we have to help somebody else out and that we should have somebody else's, take somebody else's side, stuff like that. That's good. There are some negatives, like sometimes we change ourselves in an effort to try and fit in. We start to lose some of our autonomy in favor of wanting to belong. And that's negative in the sense that we all should be striving to become our best selves. We should all be living authentically and things like that. So changing ourselves to win acceptance is one negative. Another is sometimes our need to belong causes us to allow other people to treat us badly. It's not just romantic relationships that become abusive. Friendships, family relationships can become abusive also. When you are in a group, you should be with people who help you to be your best self. You should not be with people who are using you as a way to make themselves feel better in one way or another. And that's one of the risks we run. Our powerful need to belong sometimes will subvert our need to be treated with respect and dignity. And then, of course, there's joining negative groups. Sometimes just that we can fit in with someone, we will join in with groups who believe different things than we really firmly believe. But we're like, well, I'm going to go along, right? Peer pressure will cause me to want to fit in and then do stuff I wouldn't normally do. Break the law, do things that are harmful to myself or others, stuff like that. So joining negative groups is definitely one of the negatives of our powerful need to belong. All right, what about internet relationships? Research has been looking at internet relationships a lot, and I'm not necessarily talking about romantic relationships. I'm just talking about trying to connect to other people in friendships or for support, things like that. Is our online self-disclosure honest and healthy? Is social networking making us more connected or less connected? Well, research shows that actually for most people, the self that they portray online is very consistent with the self that they portray to people in real life. Now, none of that might be authentic, by the way. I mean, because a lot of times we're trying to have everybody believe something about us that we don't even believe, but we're just trying to pretend like that's true. Project an image that we want to be true about ourselves. So I don't know when I wrote actual self if that was the best word I could have used, because I mean actual self, I meant like in-person self, right? Like the self that other people in your real life know. Now, online social networking, this includes things like Facebook or LinkedIn or Vine or whatever. These things are associated with narcissism. Narcissism is, self-absorption or self-centeredness, right? Where you don't really care about other people, you just really are trying to fulfill some goal of yours, right? So online social networking has been associated with those kinds of negatives. Also, online social networking has been associated with finding people who share your same narrow interests and your same narrow viewpoints, which can, undermine our efforts to really be less prejudiced and less stereotyping of other people. It also interferes with our connection to people who are around us, like our neighbors, our family members, people who are in the real world near us. We're busy getting validation and justification from the people who we're meeting online, and we don't even look around and see that there are people right here in the world with us that we could be spending our time with and maybe growing from and stuff like that. So there are some pros, there are some neutrals, and there are some negatives about the increase in social networking that we're seeing in modern times, right? All right, let's see, how long have I been talking here? It's kind of cumbersome to go check. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and go on to achievement motivation. That should round out our conversation for this segment. So most of us have some goal to achieve some kind of significant accomplishment, whether that be earning our college degree, or writing a novel, or climbing Mount Everest, or something like that, right? These are all examples of achievements that might be motivating us, that desire is motivating us towards a goal. What we've found in research is that people who are high in the need for achievement, there's actually a scale that assesses a person's need for achievement. People who are high in this quality, I hope that's more visible on your screen than it is on mine. People who are high in the need for achievement have certain kinds of tasks that they prefer to engage in. They like tasks that require skill and effort. One of the things about college, I have a cousin who told me that community college is stupid because they don't even care if you show up. You can just totally blow it off. Well, yeah, you could totally blow it off. That doesn't mean that you're going to ever graduate, which he didn't. You can go ahead and pick a task that you think is easy, but you know what? College is not one of them. You guys are all sitting here in college. It's a task that requires skill. It's a task that requires effort, right? I mean, talk about your keep going for 10 solid weeks, but take an online class if you really want to express some skill and effort, right? Because it's a tough thing. You have to balance so many demands on your time. You have to do your own reading, be motivated to do that. If you are one of the people who's actually listening to my lectures, you're an above and beyond effort engaging student. If you've even watched the Discovering Psychology videos, I mean, these are efforts that a lot of people will not expend. And so if you think, well, community college is pretty easy, it's not. And 2/3 of people who start it never finish. It's a task that requires skill and effort. There is a risk of failure. And so people who are higher in the need for achievement are more likely to pursue those kinds of tasks. It's more stimulating for them if there is some risk, like I could fail. That makes it more fun. People who are high in the need for achievement, when confronted with a challenging task, they tend to approach it and persist. They'll stick with it. Some people have characterized me, for example, as like a dog with a bone. If you give me something that everybody else says it can't be done, well, we can't find that. My favorite is in my research methods class, I have students read journal articles, and I'll have students who say, well, I can't find this one that I want to read, and I'll go, okay, I'll find it for you. And they'll go, I looked everywhere, I can't find it. Oh my gosh, you better believe I'm going to find that article. I'm going to find that article. I'm going to send that article to that student because I am sorry. It is doable. Now may take me some effort. It's going to tap my research skills. There's a risk of failure. I may have to go back and go, you know what, you're right. We do not have any way of accessing that article. But I will stick with it. I am like a dog with a bone. I am going to get that done because I just have the need to get it done, right? Some people are higher in that need and some people are lower in that need. I like to use my knitting as a good example of my high need for achievement also because I've taken up knitting recently, and I'll knit an entire sweater, give it to the recipient to try on, realize that I did stuff wrong or it doesn't fit right, rip it entirely apart and start over again. And it doesn't even bother me. I don't know why it would bother me. I mean, I was going to get more yarn and knit something else anyway, so why not just re-knit that, right? Oh my gosh, my neighbor, who is a lot lower in the need for achievement than I am apparently, she's like, I would just give it to the Goodwill and move on. I'm like, why would I waste all that money? I mean, my God, I was going to knit some more anyway. Higher need for achievement, people will persist in tasks, sometimes to their own detriment, by the way. Sometimes they will persist in tasks that are hopeless, that they cannot be done. In experiments, we set up tasks sometimes that are truly undoable. You cannot complete this task. And people who are high in the need for achievement will persist well beyond when they should have thrown in the towel. So that's what we're talking about. All right, let's go ahead and stop here, and we'll make the transition over into the next chapter, which is theories of emotion.